Okay, guys, so we were going to do a podcast, but we're not going to do the podcast now. We're just going to do a recorded video. So I have Liz Garrett and Sean Powell at the table at BellaDonna's. And what we're going to talk about on our first table talk is the experience or the spiritual experience that put us on the path where we are now. And for me, there was a lot of little experiences, but I grew up in the church, Southern Baptist Church, so they would always say it was God or the devil or whatever. But so after I'd left that, I was living in an apartment with a bunch of guys, and my best friend at the time, who I'm going to put on the phone actually, so I'm not making this story up. We played around. All of us in the apartment played around with a Ouija board in this period, and there was a closet at the top of the stairs. It was kind of like a suitcase closet. We would go in and write poetry and stuff in it. And he and I were the only ones in the apartment that time, and we were locked in from the inside. And we were playing with the board, and I remember one of us asking if anyone was there or if Malachi was there. I don't remember how we phrased it. But nothing happened, and we kind of wrapped it up, and we went downstairs, and on the window, on the inside of the window, and remember, we're the only ones in there, and we're locked in from the inside, was written in the dew, in the condensation on the glass, it said, "I am here." And so
you could see the condensation dripping, so you knew it was from the inside.
So this is my best friend on the phone. This happened to he and I, so he can validate what I'm saying, and he may even have more to say on the subject. But that was the first experience outside of what I knew growing up in the church that I could say something happened, I had proof of it, and then that put me on a search for answers beyond what I understood. So what would you add to that about that time, Rodney?
Oh, yeah, well, so you mentioned Malachi. No, what Malachi is, we don't know. We had a friend at the time who claimed that he had a spirit who followed him named Malachi, and he would claim he was getting messages from the spirit often, and I was very, very skeptical.
You grew up as religious as I did in the same Southern Baptist church.
We were missionary Baptist in church 3 times a week. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I didn't believe really in any of this.
And we just happened to live across the street from a cemetery, by the way, in this apartment complex.
Where we took the Ouija board many times.
Yes.
But one morning before work, I go up and just kind of in frustration, I sit in this closet at the top of the stairs Ronnie mentioned. And I just go, "Malachi, if you're here, prove it to me. I want the light to go out." And there was a light bulb hanging from a string. Is how the little closet was illuminated. And within 10 seconds, the light bulb started making a popping sound. And within 15 seconds, it flashed off, and then flashed on, and then flashed off, and then on. And it kept up that slow flashing for several minutes. It totally blew my mind and left me ultimately with such a feeling of awe and inspiration, because I felt I had validation and proof that there was something there I couldn't explain. Right? I don't know if it was a spirit. I don't know if it was God. I don't know if somehow my will manifested that light going in and out. But I felt I had proof of more.
So how do you think that experience affects you to this day still?
Honestly, it leaves me in wonder more than anything. That experience, my gosh, what was that, Ronnie? 30 years ago?
34 this year.
34, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Most of these people weren't born yet. Liz was born that year.
I was born that
year. You know what? That was a great year, especially for music. That was an awesome year. But It's left me in awe more than anything. I have in the 34 years since, I have not seen anything that was such proof. I mean, I got actual response on command to something is, make the light go out. I mean, that just can't happen, and it does on command. And I've been searching honestly for those 34 years for additional proof and validation that feels as solid as that.
Yeah. Well, thank you for validating my experience so they know I wasn't just making it up.
No, this man tells the truth. He's an honorable man.
All right. Well, I'll talk to you later. Love you.
All right. Thanks, Ron.
Bye. All right. So that was, like I said, mine. We were kids, so we fooled around with stuff that I don't do now. Like, I don't do the Ouija board now or any of that stuff.
Right.
But because I understand now more of what can happen when you don't realize what you're doing.
Right.
So I don't mess around with that now, but we did then, and all of us did, and it was not just the two of us. We had that apartment was it was the apartment to go to, so there were people in and out all the time. And there were all kinds of, stuff going on. So, sometimes I wonder, though, if I got stuff still attached to me from back then. I think I've cleansed enough to not. But, every now and then when weird shit happens, I think, did that happen because, I went to that cemetery?
And messed with a Ouija board.
But growing up, that's where my first beliefs came from, was the church. So, all the TV I watched was satanic. We burned records at the church and, all that kind of crazy crap from the 80s. The satanic panic.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was mine.
Okay. Well, so for me, I grew up in church too. Southern Baptist, and then as I got a little older, non-denominational and like Pentecostal. And I had spiritual experiences within church, like a word from someone else in the congregation about, like kind of my life purpose, and even, what you call like spiritual chills, that physical response to, connecting to source. But really and truly, what really brought me here was just searching for more natural remedies, for pain, for my husband who had back surgeries, but just in general wanted to take care of myself genuinely better and more natural. And from there I kind of found crystals and started exploring energy and how that really connects us all, whatever it is that you call it. And I don't know, the build-in pop-in yesterday was kind of a big thing for me. It really responded to us. So, if you want to talk about something that was, I've never heard that sound before, and I've been in this building for months. So we were fire scrying yesterday with our new Dragonstone. You guys have seen the post about, and the building actually responded to that, almost as if someone was walking above us, from one end of the room to the other, these weird pops and things. And then another big thing for me, I would say, would be when I predicted my stepsister's pregnancy through reading her tarot, because it was just a very unlikely situation and scenario that happened the way it did for a reason. So that was kind of validation that I'm in the right direction, but definitely still searching here for me. So
well, for me, it was just kind of always there. I don't remember a specific first time that something happened. It was just always that way. Growing up, my dad worked at Decatur Cemetery in Decatur, Georgia, so there was always, for me, an opening into a supernatural experience where I saw shadow figures and things that I considered to be ghosts. I would see people outside of my windows at night, but there was nobody else would see anybody. I would see shadow figures in the house. I always had, I guess, an ability to kind of feel what other people were feeling, and I didn't grow up religious. We didn't go to church or anything when I was a kid. There wasn't really any kind of talk about God or Jesus or anything like that, but I always had an understanding within myself of there being a higher being than myself and humanity, something that was greater and more powerful and kind of held us all together, but at the same time something that was sentient and caring. And even though I was never taught to pray, I would pray every night. And it's just a really, really weird journey.
So would you say that you saw like answered prayers that really helped you to continue?
I'm going to say no, because my prayers at the time were very childish.
Right.
Being a child, I prayed for things like, as an adult, and I look at prayer, I have an understanding now that your prayer and what you want cannot supersede somebody else's free will. So my prayers when I was a child were for me to get things I wanted, for me to have relationships that I wanted with other people, and it just doesn't quite work that way. I can't. There have been a lot of times in my life where things have happened where I definitely attribute to hearing a voice or feeling a feeling that led to myself or other people being protected.
Right. Okay. I mean, I would say that I've had answered prayers. Some people call it prayer, some people call it manifestation.
Yeah.
So to me that reach out and response back from the universe is definitely something.
It's people ask me all the time if this stuff is real, and it is. I mean, it's different for everybody. Different people have different gifts, so you have those realizations in different ways, but it's real.
Yeah.
You can call it whatever you want to call it. Like she said, it's either a miracle or answer to prayer or whatever, but
Yeah.
it's there, and you can wield it, and you can control it and do whatever you want to do. So that's just one of the talks that we're having today. We'll have more of these. We're looking forward to you coming into the shop and having them with us. That's what the table's for.
Yes.
So until next time, this
Bye,
is At the
guys.
Table at BellaDonna's. Talk to y'all later.